Welcome to an all new episode of Maker Conversations. I'm your host, Tiff Marchand from NIGHTCARVER Designs, and I have some really fun guests on today. People that I've known for quite a few years. Trevor from Meadow Design. I interviewed Trevor back in my Behind the Maker podcast days. He is really awesome. He started off as like a wood turner. Now he does a little bit of everything. And I love the way that he works with brands and how he films himself. So we definitely talk about that in this episode. And we are interviewing Justin from Campfire Woodworks. Justin, I met, I believe, on Clubhouse and then at Maker Camp and also Workbench Con. He's a really cool guy and just one of my good friends in this maker community. So I hope you enjoy both of these guys meeting for the very first time because they don't know each other. And instantly, the bond that they had together was just awesome. So you're going to see how well they vibed. So I hope you enjoy this episode, and a thank you to the sponsor of the show, Sabertooth Power Carving. We are going to be at Maker Camp this year in a bigger tent there. Hopefully we'll have more stations because I know it got a little bit overwhelming last year where we didn't have enough space for everybody. So we're coming back bigger, and we're going to have some really fun collaborations. So stay tuned for that. And I can't wait to kind of announce those things as they start to unroll. All right. I hope you enjoy the episode. What's up, man?
I miss you.
Aw. Well, it's nice to be missed. I miss you too. That's why I reached out. I was like, I haven't talked to Justin in forever. And then I told you I wanted to reach out to Trevor, see if he joined, because it's been like the same thing. Like, life has gotten so crazy busy that I haven't like talked with so many people lately. So I'm excited to connect with both of you guys tonight.
Two awesome bearded brown men.
Yes,
Can't really ask for much more.
I know. I told my husband I'm gonna go hang out with some dark, handsome men tonight, and he was like, "Have fun."
I thought he'd be like, "Can I come?"
Yeah,
it's right. The only appropriate reaction.
He was wondering, do I get invited? I've got a beard. Let's go.
Yeah, I want to hang out with some cool guys.
Yeah. Who wouldn't? Justin, where are we right now?
We are in the office / nursery right now. That's where we are.
Life is blending.
Oh yeah, it's quite something.
Is this your firstborn?
This is our firstborn. Due in 14 days from today.
Ah, okay.
Dang, dude.
We're on the cusp.
Mm-hmm.
That's exciting. Are you gonna fully use your office as the nursery, or is it gonna be half and half?
It's gonna be half and half. We're in here. Here, I'll move my camera for a second so you can see the other half. So that's the other half of the office. That's all the stuff that's piled in the corner for now.
Oh, the house explodes when you have a baby.
Yeah. The living room looks like that too. But we're in the we're just about cleaned up now. All that stuff's gonna go other places, so we're good. It'll be like this for about a year. And we're gonna be out of this place hopefully by July of next year. We're looking for another house.
Nice.
Gotta upgrade. Smart. Instead of trying to just live with the space.
It's not possible. It's just not. We both work from home, so we just need space for like a desk and quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel
Understand. Hence, I'm in the basement.
I am also in the basement.
Yep. Find yourself a nice basement.
You guys are lucky with like the nice finished basements, man. I got a cellar. It's barely usable.
I've remodeled this room 3 times. This is the final, I went for it this time and put the effort in. But yeah, this has gotten remodeled several times.
Is it one of those basements where like just on the other side of the wall, it's like the heating system and the AC,
the furnace
and it's all
is
just
directly next to me, and it goes all fucking day long, guys. This is not living in luxury. It looks pretty, but yeah, I have to wear headphones during the day if I want to hear anything.
Yeah, same with me. My kids' playroom is just on the other side of this door, and then their actual bedrooms on this wall on the opposite side. And it is just always going. Even with my headphones, I can still hear them sometimes. And I'm like, what? Why? I gave you guys your TV. You have your snacks. Just shh, please. I need 10 minutes to edit some stuff. Just please.
Yes.
Having children are awesome.
Yeah. Life is going to be great.
It'll be fine.
You're gonna get so much done.
We'll make it work. It was funny
do.
when right as COVID, we both, our last day of work for both of us was like March 18th of 2020 when like COVID started hitting. And then by the end of March, I had gone out and bought 2 pairs of these Bose, like the 700s noise canceling, because I couldn't do it. It took all of a week for me to be like, I can't listen to her on calls while I'm on calls, and then like it was too much. So
I get it. My husband's office is next to me as well. So I've got the furnace, and then he works from home on Thursdays and Fridays. And he likes to like play music or TV while he's working, which understandable. I do too. But like when you have somebody else doing that, you're like, God damn it. It's just so overwhelming.
yeah, I got noise canceling on 10 and my lo-fi beats playing 24/7 in here.
Nice.
There you go.
Very nice.
Perfect. Well, thank you for carving some time out. You said you had like nothing but time right now. Are you on like vacation? What's going on with you?
I have 3 days of work left, and I'm officially on leave till October 2nd.
Wow.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's nice. What are your plans besides the baby, of course, but like
Chill. Shop
chill?
stuff. I got so
That's
much
good.
just miscellaneous. I've been letting like the ADD kind of like take charge and just guide me through my work in the shop, and just it's been crazy. I've been finding all these little things to kind of like toy with and get done, and I'm looking forward to having more time just to sit in there and do whatever I want.
Awesome.
That's always fun, but it's like that fine line. If you let the ADD take over too much, you go out to your shop one day and you're like, what is happening in here right now?
Well,
that's how I find it myself, at least.
Yeah, those days where you find yourself, like I sit on my workbench sometimes and I'm like scrolling through Instagram and 40 minutes will go by and I'll be like, why am I in here doing this?
I should be on the couch. It's your happy place. That's where you got to go. It's your happy place.
Finding that it's a lot easier for me to edit if I'm editing on my phone to just like sit on our deck because I can't get too distracted. It's like just stay in that app. If I'm in front of my computer, then I'm like looking up stuff while I'm editing, and then I'm doing this. Like you have to put yourself somewhere that you're not going to start drifting into that little coma. I get it. Is there a certain project that you've been like excited to tackle? Like the one?
I got one just kind of hanging in there for June. I'm finally rebuilding my workbench. So that'll be that workbench was the first shop build that I ever did. And I'm finally at the point now where I'm ready to replace it.
You have a style of bench you're planning on going with?
So I have a pile of Rocksteady stuff sitting in the corner of my shop right now, and I'm gonna do the base using the Rocksteady system, and I'm debating whether or not I want to stick with like the solid laminated like maple or poplar top, or if I want to go with a torsion box top. It's kind of like I like them both. And
you got so excited with the second option, though. I have no idea what it is, but you were like, yes.
The torsion box I always liked just because you have all the shelving underneath as well. But I also know that with myself, at least, I would lose so much crap under there. There would just be so much stuff under there. I wouldn't even be able to find it.
Out of sight, out of mind, right?
Yeah, exactly. What are you going to do for like the top? Are you going to do like a melamine or a plywood or what?
So that's what I've been debating. I kind of want to do melamine, but I have a habit, like, because I'm so used to just like the big butcher block, I don't care about top. I nail stuff into there all the time. I screw things into the top. Like, I don't care about like when I'm drilling something, if I poke through and like put a hole in the top, it doesn't matter to me. Every couple of months I go out there and just like throw some epoxy over it and like to fill in whatever like dips and divots are in there.
It's a smart way to hide all that. That's funny.
That's a good idea.
And I feel like with a melamine top, it'll be destroyed within a month or two.
Yeah, I have a melamine top. I love it when it comes to like just getting glue off or epoxy or whatever. It's super nice. But yeah, as soon as I like drilled into it or cut into it, I was like, well, now this looks ugly.
Yep.
This sucks.
Yeah, I guess it all depends on what you're doing with your areas. If you had one special area for glue ups and another area for assembling or something like that. The things to think about.
Maybe just split it down the middle. Do half butcher block, half melamine. Get weird with it.
That's what I'm
That'd be
thinking.
kind of fun.
Right? If you have the space.
Or do like a replaceable insert. You could do something like that. That would be fun.
So that'd be kind of cool.
Start brewing some
I'm
ideas
thinking,
now. Yeah.
This will be a month-long process of me just like going through all the possibilities in my head before I finally settle on something.
I feel like that's how we all are when it comes to like any project, though. You're building it in your head so many times before you actually like start to execute it. Like,
Yeah.
Going through all kind of scenario. I mean, if you're not, then you're just wasting probably a lot of products and you're learning as you go. But for a lot of us, I'm sure we're thinking it out well in advance. So, all right. Well, I'm curious to see how that project goes. How did you even like get into making? And first of all, I don't know, because Trevor and you guys haven't talked and stuff. Can you first fill us in? What do you actually do during the day? Like I know, but I'd like you to tell people.
Oh, you want me to give you
What's the day job first?
Your
Because I think
job.
it's a fun. He has a fun job, I think.
So I work for an organization called the Appalachian Mountain Club, and they are the oldest conservation, recreation, education organization in the U.S. And I essentially manage and train volunteer guides from all across the Northeast.
That's right. I just listened to the AWP episode with you on it. You do
Yep.
a bunch of overlanding and stuff, right?
Yeah, I got really big into overlanding a few years ago, so we
Dude,
set
I'm
up
going
the.
down that path right now.
Oh,
I'm so excited and I'm
it's
so
a
depressed because I have no money.
it's a money sink.
Oh my gosh.
So like I grew up, like my wife and I are backpackers. We've been backpacking since college together. Like we've
Oh, awesome.
literally traveled the world. I mean, we got engaged on Mount Everest. We've been to the Andes, to the Atlas, to the Himalayas, everywhere, right? And so like the transition, but backpacking, generally speaking, backpacking is a pretty cheap thing to do. Like
Sure.
once you get a bag and some
Your
good
gear,
boots
yeah.
and your general gear, and you don't need to go for like the greatest, craziest, lightest stuff, right? You can walk out of REI, $2,000 in the hole and have everything you need for 10 years worth of backpacking.
Sure.
Overlanding, forget it.
All right. For us laymen's, can you explain what is it?
Overlanding is vehicle-based adventure travel.
Okay.
And so you are in whatever vehicle you choose. Most people are in Jeeps and Tacomas and anything but four-wheel drive, really. But I mean, I've seen guys in, Porsches do overlanding and stuff. So whatever you want. And you're essentially living out of and adventuring with your vehicle for extended periods of time. And the whole point is to be off grid. So usually you have some sort of sleeping setup, cooking setup in there.
I say Patrick from Pine Barrens done that. Yeah. And I believe Ricky TV has done that too as well. So that's cool.
So Trevor, where are you at in your overland journey right now?
So my wife has a Nissan Pathfinder. We put some really good tires on it last year, and we just picked up a rooftop tent for it, a Tepui.
Cool.
Oh, nice.
Three-man tent. It fits my whole family of 5 in there. We just did it last week. It was sick. Uncomfortable, but hey, it worked.
Yeah.
But I actually just picked up a cheap Ford Sport Track, their little truck. And so now I got to get the tires for it. I got to get it lifted. I got to get custom made rack on the back because they don't sell one because the bed is like smaller than 4 feet, 4x4. So I have to get a custom rack for it. Then I can put my tent on it. And I'm like just starting with my truck. So
is the goal to have both vehicles out there then together?
Yeah, something like that. It'd be super fun. Yeah. 2 tents, run the family out to. The thing I love about the overlanding is you can get your rig to a place where not a lot of people can get to.
Yeah.
And you can camp at these awesome places that people just can't go to with their RVs or whatever. So
that's cool. And
there's a lot of that in Idaho. Tons of that in Idaho. So it's perfect.
Idaho is amazing for that.
Yeah, come up to the Tetons anytime.
Well, I was saying you're not too far from Tetons, all the Wyoming space, and then you just go south and you got Nevada, California's right there. Like all the best overlanding territory is right, like you're right smack in the middle of everything.
Yeah, I'm in the perfect little hub.
I'm just sitting here all so proud of myself that I paired you two together, and I'm just sitting here smiling, and I'm like, how did I know? How did I know this conversation was going to go well and they'd get along?
my time in Idaho got cut short. Was it 2021? We were out there overlanding, and we were supposed to head over to Lake Tahoe, and we had to bypass like basically everything we had planned in Idaho.
That sucks.
Yeah,
It's unfortunate. That's cool though. That's fun. So that's kind of like something that you're still planning on doing, once you have the kid, kind of getting mobile and
yeah. We got our first overlanding trip already booked in September with the
love it.
3-month-old. So we're gonna get in that tent with them and see what happens.
It's already your lifestyle though, so it should hopefully, you're just going to be adapting, packing a lot more than you normally used to.
Yeah. We'll make whatever modifications and arrangements we have
Mm-hmm.
to fit the stroller and the baby bag and the car seat in there. This will be our last season with our rooftop tent. We're gonna sell this one, and we have to go for a 3 or 4 person one now because we've been doing this with a 2-person tent up on the roof, and it's not going to be enough space once we have a toddler.
No.
You have a clamshell?
Yeah, it's a clamshell.
Nice. I want a clamshell.
I love it.
The bigger tents will take way longer to set up and take
I
down.
know. That's my only like the clamshell. It pops open. We're pulling into a spot and sleeping within 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
That's really nice.
We just got started, so it took us probably like 15, 20 minutes to set up the tent. Now it'll be quicker, but it's still just like, okay, because you have to put the stakes in, and it's just like, okay. But yeah, it's not bad.
You just got to make sure that you're not like exhausting yourself before you park. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you don't want to be struggling through that and I could just see it, especially with a family of 5, just the arguments. Just hold on.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a process.
If we just work together. That's fine. Dude, that's awesome. So yeah, I wanted to, share that part of your life because I thought that was really cool when I met you and you were talking about the thing that you do like for your day job and stuff, and just to be out in nature all the time. That's so nice.
It's fun.
I say that, but I want to enjoy the bug bites nor the heat. But if it was a perfect 70 degrees out, wonderful.
This
wonderful.
is the best. This in October, the best times of year to be out there.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet.
It's nice and
It's just
warm.
cold enough to where the bugs all go away, but it gets just warm enough during the day. Perfect.
We were talking about the brass in your pieces earlier.
Yeah. So what started the slight obsession with brass?
Oh,
you're like, I'm just gonna try this out, and then you were like, I'm never not gonna have this in my shop.
Yeah, honestly, I started playing around with brass when I first built the shop. It was like something that I've always loved, like the combination with the brass and walnut and different woods together. And I've always tried adding a little element to certain things. Like it was always a thing that like I wanted to do more and more of, and I was never good enough to really pull it off. And lately, over the last year, I've been really like pushing like what I can do with brass and pieces. So,
yeah, you're putting it in all different little spots.
Yeah, so I've been working slowly towards a place where pretty much everything in my shop will have some sort of brass accent in it eventually. That's kind of like what I want to be known for at some point, the style that I want to go for.
It's showing. It's already showing on your page. So
it's there.
Yep. No, I like it. Your stuff is all on the darker side. Like you use a lot of darker woods. You don't see too many things that are like super bright. So it kind of gives like a whole vibe, especially with the campfire. Like I just think it's fun because like you think about a campfire, it's at night. You're getting a little bit of lightness, which is your brass, and then the rest is the dark wood. So it kind of blends into it. I like that. Very on brand.
Thank you.
Yeah, very nice.
And it makes sense too with the name too of Campfire. People now, if they didn't know what you did during the day, can connect that. So you said your wife has a crush on me, but she kind of ignored me at Workbench Con. I'm just saying.
I think she was a bit overwhelmed. There was so much going on at Workbench Con for her. Like, and she had just flown in too. Like we were like that Sunday that she showed up was like or the Saturday. She showed up on Saturday. It was a whirlwind. She flew in. She flew in like around 1 o'clock. I think she arrived at Atlanta, so she was at Workbench Con by like 2. And then when she got there, like she hadn't been there the whole weekend, so like all this stuff is going on. She hasn't like we're all settled, right? Like we're in our groove. Where everyone's had dinner a couple of times together. We've all like hung out, in the afternoons. And she gets there, and for her, it's just like a whirlwind. Like everyone is like running around doing things, and plus like all the booths are starting to close, so everyone's kind of like rushing around to like get their
trying to go
like,
there.
Yeah, hellos in and
freebies.
everything. And then the very next day, that Sunday, like we were getting prepped because we were literally leaving Atlanta for an overland trip that was going to be 2 weeks long.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
I was dying. I was telling my husband about her. I was like, yeah, he says that she has this big crush on me, and we're at Workbench Con and I barely got a hi,
She always asks about you. Ever since Maker Camp, she always asks about you.
Oh, I taught his wife how to power carve. And
nice.
and then she actually won a contest with the burrs. She has a ton of burrs now. I'll tell her I'm expecting some carvings after the baby's born. But she was real cool. It was fun. It was a really cool experience. And that's kind of, is that the first time that you and I met? Or did we meet before that, the year before?
We met the year before at Maker Camp, yeah.
Okay.
Does your wife do like a lot of making, or does she help out with the business in any sort of way?
She's good at design. So she paints. Like she did like every wall in our house has some sort of accent mural of some sort on it.
Oh,
That's
cool.
all her. It's 100% her. And so she's really good like visually, like she does really good with like matching colors and like designs. Like she's on Pinterest all the time, like looking at ideas.
Sure.
Trying to, like,
So
make her own
super
thing.
creative.
Yeah. Execution, not as much. The first time that she ever spent more than 20 minutes in my shop, she ended up with 4 stitches in her hand. So
maybe power tools aren't quite her thing.
It was a chisel.
That's how I've gotten hurt too, though.
It was a chisel.
Chisels take me down more than the burrs. Recently, I got a burr injury, but it was like after 5 years of power carving. So, chisels.
Not a lot of people think about chisels as like being that bad. Even if you think your hand is like far enough away.
Yes.
When I'm using a chisel, I'm always like, we'll probably put it over there. Okay, let's go. Because you're just gonna like do something dumb.
That's exactly what happened too. She was she pushed into her holding hand, and that thing slid across all over the tops of all of her fingers.
Oh, that's probably not fun.
I got the whole slid into the holding hand right into the palm. It was great.
Ooh, nice little puncture wound.
Nice little
something's not right here.
Yeah.
Honey, start the car.
Luckily for me, every chisel injury I've gotten has been that bad because I just have crap chisels and never sharpen them. So it's like not a puncture wound, it's just like an indent. I'm like, oh, that could have been bad if I had good chisels.
Gotta sharpen those chisels, Trevor.
That's on my to-do list.
Get some good chisels or sharpen
them. It's been a while. I'm not a big hand tool
the last time I used a chisel was like 3 years ago.
I rarely use them. It's only like as needed.
That's the thing. Yeah, I try and get away with using power tools for everything. So
yeah. Love watching the good hand tool videos, but I'm not like all about using those hand tools.
Yeah, I'll watch Rob Cosman work all day long. I love this. I love watching his videos. It's the
sounds.
It's amazing to watch someone that is just so accurate doing stuff like that by hand. Just like watching like all the hand carved dovetails and stuff. I love watching that. But like, if you're, I'm trying to quote unquote run a business, and so taking 3 months to make a jewelry box is just not. It's not realistic.
Not possible. Yeah, it's no thanks. I can make that in 3 hours. I think I'm gonna do it that way.
I mean, there's guys that are doing it. There's guys that are making, hand cut dovetail furniture and shooting out 5,
it's
6
all about
tables.
your clientele and like what they're willing to pay for, your business model for sure. Like a lot of us, I rather do the power tools just because it's fun. Like and I sometimes prefer manual over like going CNC, but CNC cuts is so much cleaner. But it's fun to be involved in it. So like that's why I like power carving, because it gives you like you let it run on the CNC and then you take it off and then you turn it into something else. It's like so satisfying.
I have no shame in letting my CNC do as much as I can.
Oh, I for sure do. No, for sure. But I like to take part. I like to get in there. I don't want it all. It feels like it's not me if it's just all CNC, you know? Even if I
Yeah.
designed it. So like, mm.
Yeah, it's funny. I just actually was having thoughts about a new project, and I found myself being like, well, maybe I just won't do it because I can't do it on the CNC. So I was like, if I can't do it on the CNC, I don't want to do it. And then I was like, this is not good. This is not a good thought to have. I need to remember where I came from because,
Yep.
man,
Yeah.
a CNC will change your whole output of projects, I've noticed.
Some
Yeah.
things take so much longer too, though, if you rely on the CNC, and it's like maybe I could just get off my ass and do that myself.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say there are projects I spent 3 hours trying to figure out how to get it done in the CNC when I could have done it by hand in 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this
All the
project was
time.
specific cabinets, and I was like, okay, let me like if I do this and I can do it that, and then I'd spent 30 minutes designing it and everything, and then I was like, it's just a box, man. Just go out, cut your plywood, get it together. It's not that hard. But it's always like, especially with me being new to the CNC, I'm like super just all about it, and I
You
just
want to
want to
use
do
it.
everything on
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
everything.
I completely get it. I've been using a CNC now for 4 years, I think. 4 or 5 years now. So now it's like I kind of like going back to my roots every once in a while. It's like, oh yeah, I could do it this way too. Or there's other options. I can do something out of the box and just like go have fun.
But I like your approach to it, Tiff, where you design something, you carve it out, mostly like 50%, we'll say, and then you finish it up with your own hands and you make it.
I'll add to that because when I first met you, it was like what, 3 years ago now.
Yeah.
I was I remember some of the first projects that you ever showed me, like the hand like the hand carved the bird stuff, and it is exponentially improved like in the last
Thanks,
like
man.
2 years. Like some of the stuff that you've been putting out the last year or so, and I've been watching like the more and more complicated carves and
Much more complicated.
crazier paint jobs.
Thanks, man. I've been focusing a little bit more on it. I was telling Trevor when we were hanging out before you came on that this last year has been like just teaching myself how to be full time in this world, like, content creation, social media management, and then like making art. And I'm finally starting to get like a rhythm. And like, I feel like June's going to be like a really good month to kind of kick things off for it. So, but like, yeah, I've been doing stuff I would never do before because I wouldn't have the time to do it. Like
Yeah.
just gluing up that piranha plant, that takes time, like a lot of prep
Yeah.
before I even hit it with a burr, So
And
thank
that's the thing.
you.
I think when I met you, you weren't full time yet. I think you were still working.
I was still working full-time job. Yeah, I quit my job on June 24th of last year. So it's
How's it
almost a year.
how's it feel?
So good. I was stressed. I was crying every day. Like I hated my job. And I'm sure you knew that, especially if you hang out with me on Clubhouse back then. I was
Yep,
on Clubhouse all
I
the time because I
remember.
hated my job so much. So like now not to like have that feeling to be like my problem now is just like the kids as they're getting older. I thought it'd be less demanding, but man, they still like check in all the time. Like, hey, I need a snack. Hey, I need this. He's fighting because I have twins, so it's two kids with at the same level going through life
Yeah.
and constantly annoyed with each other because that's their life. They're always battling each other.
Have you tried kind of giving yourself a like an actual work schedule, or like
I
do you
do.
have like this is listen kids, this is my time. I am working. Pretend like I'm not here. Pretend like mommy's actually at work.
I mean, absolutely they do. So like in the morning, I come down for an hour before I bring them to school, just so I can get like in the zone, open up emails, any kind of posting, editing I need to do like first thing in the morning. I hit that like right away. Then I bring them to school and I come back and I have like a few hours from 9 to 2 is like work, 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 work. And then I go get them again and I come back and I work for another hour and a half. Like it's very segmented. It's like stop, cook, do this, get them set, and then sneak back
Yeah.
down and then my husband gets home, and then I come up, I hang out for a little bit, and then podcast and stuff. It's hard. He's like, you're always working. Yeah, always working.
That's a tight schedule.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that I'm trying to figure out, because I mean, these first 4 months I'm home. I have nothing going on.
Yeah.
And so it'll be diaper change, feeding, nap time, hour and a half in the shop, wake up, diaper change, feeding, nap time, hour and a half in the shop. In the morning we do some administrative work, and at night I do some administrative work for the shop stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then October I go back to work full time. So it'll be Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, work in the office, do dinner, 6 to 9 in the shop, bedtime, and then like 9:30 till midnight in the shop again.
Trevor, he's expecting his kid to go to bed on time every night in these next 4 months.
Well, babies are a lot easier, I think, than like a 3-year-old or 4-year-old.
Yeah.
As long as they sleep through the night. So let's give you some good positive thoughts, sir.
I have no expectations of getting a good night's sleep for these first 3 months.
I did it delirious.
Whatsoever.
You can do it too. Yeah. You can get through it.
Just make sure you're safe in the shop. You're not delirious or problems in the shop, and you're good.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I have a system. Like, I won't go in the shop if I'm not feeling right about it. I grew up on the South Shore of Long Island. This is I'll compare it to this. Like, I grew up on the South Shore of Long Island. Grew up going to the beach and swimming, surfing, boogie boarding, whatever. And there's a feeling that you get, like, if you grow up on the ocean and you go to the ocean every single day of your life, there's a feeling you get where you get to the beach, you look at the water, and you're like, something's not right today, and I'm just not going to go in because it doesn't look right. That's that same feeling I get sometimes. Like, if I'm tired and I know I got a project due in the shop, and I'm walking to the shop and I'm looking at that table saw going, you know what? I don't trust myself today. Nah, that's a day where I sit and do some editing.
100%. And I get the same feeling. Like, I know how dangerous power carving can be. If you're not like in it, you could just slip and, really hurt yourself. Yeah. So if I have like that weird feeling, like it's just not going to be a good day out there, it'll be a computer day. Like, I'll put myself on timeout. I'm guessing you feel the same way, Trevor, because you grew up in California too. So like with water and stuff, right?
Yep. It's the same thing. You grow up and you go to the beach and you're kind of like, I mean, I grew up doing like skating and some like probably pretty gnarly stuff. And it was sometimes you just get to where you want to go and you're like, maybe not today.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Gut feeling, I guess. You got to learn to trust it.
Yeah. It's not worth it with slipping up with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Sorry, my internet connection keeps dying on me for some reason. I don't know why. So that's what's going on. I moved out to my shop because my router is like right next to it. So we'll see if this does better.
I'm leaving that in. I'm leaving that in.
Keep it in.
Oh, that was beautiful. Oh, you said, I hope this will do bad.
Great.
And it was just perfect timing. Sorry, we had a good giggle on your expense.
That's fine. Trevor, most people do.
You're totally fine, Trevor. I want to take advantage of you while you have your connection working, Trevor. How's it going for you? I just want to catch up because it's been a long time since I've interviewed you. And I know like your goal was like to do like a lot of product reviews and work with different brands and stuff and experiment with different techniques. So how's that going for you?
It's going great. It's a lot. Once I started kind of reaching out to more brands and, kind of trying to do more content around working with brands, I quickly realized like, oh, this is actually a whole nother thing. Like, because I was doing it before where I was woodworking and making some content for brands, but it was just kind of whatever. But once I actually started doing it, I quickly realized I was like, oh man, I'm not going to get in the shop today because I have to edit all this content for this brand that is now paying me or like send out all this stuff for me. Yeah. That's cool. I didn't want to go to the shop anyways. I don't have things to build, so
but
it's really
balancing
fun.
it.
Yeah. I love making connections with brands and using their products and having them actually ask me what my opinion is on it. And they're like, well, what do you actually think about it as like a woodworker? What is your, and I'm like, oh, you actually care about what we think about this, right? Because I feel like there are some brands out there that are just like,
here's the tool,
you'll just like our brand anyways, you'll just like it. And it's like, well,
yeah,
I think especially in our community, a lot of liking the brand is, yeah, they have to have good products, but they also have to be good people, and they have to engage with us, and they have to, show us that they do care about us, whether you have 50,000 followers or 10 followers. It's like, we all want to be cared about, and we want to see that.
Yeah, the brand loyalty is in the woodworking community and the maker community in general is fierce. I've never experienced that before.
Yeah. No, yeah, I used to make fun of people because they'd be like, "This is I love this one," and like, okay, all right, and then you start falling in love with these people and their tools, and you do build those connections. Like, it is pretty crazy.
Well, yeah, one of my brands that I've been working with for years is Serious Grit. I've been working with them for a while, since like they started basically, and it's crazy because I've gotten a bunch of other sandpaper companies and stuff that want to work with me, and I have worked with them, but I don't know, it's just the fact that I've been with Serious Grip for so long that I'm always like, this is what's going to be in my shop. I love this brand because I know the guy and I love the guy. Like,
he's super nice.
Yeah,
and the paper is great. It is great.
It's so good. It's so good. But yeah, if more brands would take the time to establish relationships with makers and content creators, they would win all the time.
Yeah.
It's just whether you have to have a decent product, but if brands are out there looking to expand, get somebody to manage your account and to actually connect with people.
100%.
Are you, when you're reaching out to brands, are you just like kind of cold calling them and be like, hey, I love like your product, you want to do something together?
Yeah. Yeah, there's been a couple brands this month that I've just reached out to. Some of them are off brand. Like, I don't know if you've heard of Duke Cannon, the soap company. They're like a soap company and they do beard products and stuff. I reached out to them a couple months ago and I was just like, hey, I love your stuff. I use it all the time. I'd love to put out a little thing on I'll make a reel for you guys or whatever. And unfortunately their representative lady quit or something and emails got lost, but they were like, yeah, sure, that sounds great. But then sometimes you reach out and they're like, no response, or just like, and you are but the way that I found that works best, like if you want to actually get brands to like notice you, is to basically just make them free content, right? So just start 100%. Tagging them in all your stories, make a quick reel about it, and then they'll usually reply back like, hey, thanks so much, blah, blah, blah. And then that's where I start my conversation of like, no problem. I love your brand. I'd love to work with you guys. Anytime you guys like want me to do content for you, just send me out some stuff and I'd love to do it or whatever. So
are you interested in starting to work with brands, Justin?
I've been slowly growing some relationships with a couple of brands. It's just not, it hasn't really been my focus, but I want it to be, I'd like it to be more of my focus. I feel like now that I've hit that 50,000 follower mark, I feel like I at least have like an audience to give to.
Yeah.
So I think it's time that I begin just having those conversations with some brands. And
yeah,
I've gotten a few. Like I've been working with like Starbond for forever. This project with the workbench now is with Rockler, and
nice.
I'm so excited to be doing this with them. So like there's a bunch of
those two brands, and it's funny though, because what am I thinking of the people that are behind it, right? The Starbond person is hilarious. Always commenting on people's posts, even if they didn't use Starbond in the post. Like Rockler, the team behind them are hilarious. Like they're also like just good people. So sorry to interrupt you, but like it's funny because again, brand recognition. I'm just smiling at the ones you're saying.
Yep. And there it
and
is
then
again, right? Like they're involved. They comment on your
yeah,
stuff. They're there. And you're like, I want to work with these people. They notice me.
Yep.
yeah. I mean, I feel the same way about like Onefinity, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, they're always resharing my content. They're always commenting. Like it's a relationship. Like we've never worked together on a project, and that doesn't bother me. Like that's not the point. It's like here's a brand that like I tag them in something and
Yep.
they respond to it, or like I
Mhm.
ask them a question on social media and like right away like they have like a response, and like it's so refreshing to like have like a human connection with the people
Mm-hmm.
you're buying products from.
Yes.
Yeah. It's exactly how I pitched Sabretooth when I took over their account. It was that exact thing. Like, you guys haven't shared anybody's work in forever. Like,
Mhm.
people are going to forget about you, or they're not going to think that you care anymore, because before you
Mhm.
were. So, like, those kind of things, it makes a huge difference with the community. It's cool hearing it. Like, that's why I'm kind of like sitting back, being quiet, listening to you guys say it, because it's nice to hear it from others that it does matter.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It matters.
That's cool. I wasn't sure if you were going for that, Justin, because I haven't seen you do too many like advertisements. Usually I see you make great products, and like your marketing I think is really nice. Like, how are you doing sales wise? What are you doing for that? Are you on Etsy? Are you doing fairs, or is it just all like Instagram?
It's Etsy and my website. So
Okay.
I'm on Etsy. Probably 50% of my sales are coming through from Etsy,
Okay.
and I'm running Etsy ads. I'm also, I'm on Google Analytics and doing like Google ads for my website.
Okay.
That's bringing in traffic, plus traffic from Instagram, plus I'm paying for Pinterest ads. Like I'm running
Oh,
as much
nice.
marketing as I possibly can, and I'm right now is actually, and this is normal for me. This is a bit of a slow month for me. Usually like April, May, June, July, things slow down. And then August, all of a sudden I get slammed again. And I'm slammed basically through January.
It's that gift giving season. Everyone's starting to like ramp up for it.
Yeah, year over year, I'm way ahead in sales than I was last year. And last year I thought I was like it was record breaking for me. I doubled my salary last year
Amazing.
through
Dang.
woodworking.
That's
Obviously, like
awesome.
it was all write off because like I spent so much money on tools. I mean I bought my last year I bought the saw stop, I bought the dust collector, I bought a joint, like I bought so much stuff last year.
So
So
you invested.
it was a
Mhm.
wash, but like I doubled my salary last year. This year I'm ahead by like 30% probably year over year. So
Nice.
I'm doing well.
That's
Not
awesome. Like,
not
I think you
full
do a
time
great
well,
job.
but well.
You don't need it to be full time well either, though, especially if you're enjoying your job. Like,
Yeah.
that's the thing. If you have a great work life balance, then if you can make being in the shop part time and still bring in that extra income, that's beautiful. I did that for years. It helped my family so much, just like moonlighting, like
Yeah.
it did it. It got us through the young years of having kids is so expensive. I mean, it is continuing to be expensive with sports and shit, but you're not used to that expense, and like having that hit
Yeah.
you all of a sudden, you're like, oh. mm. So I think that's really cool. And I knew you had to be doing real well because like you seem to be making products and then moving on to the next thing. I don't see you post too much about like old products that are sitting around.
Yeah.
So that's real cool.
And then
Yeah.
the cutting board feet, we'll see what happens with that product because that's something that's new and really doing well.
The new brass
Yeah, I was
feet.
about to say, I saw that listed on your store. They're doing well.
Yep. So
Oh, nice.
brass and stainless steel, 1.5 and 1 inch ones. I can't keep them in stock. I'm about to run out of
That's
stainless
awesome.
steel ones, and I won't have more again for 2 more weeks. So it's like I'm hoping that'll buy me a new truck at some point.
Yeah,
See,
that'd be
that's
awesome.
amazing, right? This truck is brought to you by Brass Feet Cutting Boards. It's fantastic.
Yeah, that's question about your ads. You're running ads on Etsy and on Google.
Yeah,
Have you seen one perform better than the other?
Etsy ads are definitely performing better.
Okay.
They are they are they are really doing well. And I don't know if there's like I don't know what the formula is for it because Etsy ads you're not really controlling like their ad like their the ad
what they
spend.
say, or
Yeah, you set a budget for what is it, $1, $2, $5 a day, whatever it is that you want to spend on Etsy ads, and then they're doing everything for you, and they're deciding who they want to put your products in front of, at what point it pops up at the top of the search engine. You could do some playing with like keyword searches and things. But I don't know, what's really making the difference there and what's not.
Do you
But
think it's because they're on Etsy already? They're kind of in the mode to shop. So it
yeah,
might
and
be
Etsy,
trigger warning.
I think it is, and I think Etsy has motivation, right? Things that sell well, or things that they see like a real good return on investment for taking your ad dollars and putting it in front of people who then purchase things, and then they get a cut of that sale. Like they know how to play with things to make that work. So I think the better your product starts doing, the higher up on their search engine it ends up going, and the better ad placement you get, and it just kind of snowballs.
Yeah, that's interesting. Because I ran Google ads for the first little while, and then I switched to Etsy just to see, and I definitely saw a better tick in Etsy. So I just ran with Etsy. But I've been curious for the last couple months on running both at the same time to see if it brings in more. But I also feel like Etsy uses Google to do their ads as
They do.
well. So it's kind of like you're paying
Interesting.
both for the same thing. So I don't know.
And Google ads are expensive compared to Etsy ads. Like you
Yeah.
pay up, it's a
That was
lot
going to be
of
my
money.
follow-up question, is like the price difference. Okay, so that's interesting.
Google's expectation is that like you're gonna spend $500 a month on their ads. Like
Mhm.
that's like that. Like when you like go and do like the tutorial and like how to set up your first ad campaign, like the numbers they're giving you for like examples are absolutely ridiculous.
That's big
Yeah,
business. That's
they're
somebody
for
who's
big
turning.
business.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Etsy's like, oh, try $1 a day. You know, like they're much more reasonable for
Mhm.
the cost.
They get
Yeah.
you
So
in.
instead of running both, I just doubled my money on Etsy. I was at like $3 and I went up to like $9. And I was like, let's just dump more money into Etsy ads and see what that gets me.
Yeah, I might do the same, honestly. I might shut the Google stuff down soon and just dump all that money into Etsy, because that seems to be getting the most bang for my buck.
If you do,
But you're
you got to
also
follow up with
posting to
us.
Pinterest, right?
Yeah, well, my website is through Shopify, and so Shopify and Pinterest have like some back-end API connection. So I'm running ads on Pinterest through my Shopify account.
Okay. Okay. And you can also do that through Instagram
Yeah, with
and
Instagram as
TikTok,
well.
right?
I've never tried the TikTok thing. I'm not big
Okay.
into TikTok.
You don't
TikTok
repost
shop.
over there?
I did for a while. I was really going at it for a while. I think I hit like 4 or 5,000 followers on TikTok, and then it's too much to keep up with.
It's
It's a
exhausting. I
lot, dude.
post to 4 places a day, and I'm like, at the end of it, my husband's like, "What?" I'm like, "I had to pick a song 4 times. I had to do this. I had to make sure everything did like posted properly." It's like, it's exhausting.
And
Yeah, it's
I've
exhausting.
I've realized too with it that like my motivation for Instagram is the community that I'm part of, and not necessarily like the sales I get from it. No one that follows me is buying anything I make, because half people who follow me can make their own, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
That's
And
been my
so
biggest problem. It's all
yeah,
woodworkers following me.
and with exactly. And with TikTok, like it's fun to post things, but there's no community there. Like I'm
No.
not.
Mhm.
My friends aren't on TikTok, and I'm not making any friends there. All of the people that I talk to on a daily basis, I met through Instagram. I talk to on Instagram now. Like I'm in like 6 different text chat groups with other makers who I've now met through Instagram. So like that's my
Wow.
community now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys are chatty.
Yeah, we're chatty. There's a lot of maker groups of people chatting and texting that go around. It's pretty insane.
I used to be on all kinds of things, and I had to be like, no more group chats. Like, I love you all, but no.
Well, you
the
were on
same.
Clubhouse every day.
I used to. Nobody's on there anymore. Like, and I find eventually, like, it is hard to focus because you do want to chit chat. And I usually do work through it, but you're not doing your best work when you're like actively participating in a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're not doing your best. If I'm drawing or painting, then it's perfect. I don't mind. That's wonderful. But like designing, it's like a little brain thing. It's just like,
Yeah. That's why I ended up leaving most or actually all of them as well, because I'm like, I can't, like, I want to be able to give 100% to this group chat, and I know I can't. So I'd rather just not be a part of it and have everyone be like, what the heck, where'd you go? Than just be like there like 10% of the time and have them be like, oh, he's not even invested in this conversation, because it's like, I can't be invested in it. I have 2 hours in my day right now to get stuff done, and I'm sorry, I have to pick my Etsy store and my content and all my other stuff over you guys. I love you all.
Yep.
But I gotta go.
Yeah. I feel so bad. There's so many conversations. Like there's one I keep up with regularly, and I'm vigilant about making sure I keep up with one conversation. But everything else, I have people that reach out to me that like we used to talk all the time, and now like maybe there's like 3 texts that go back and forth once a month, and it's just like, listen, I have a full-time job. I need to be in the shop doing work. I need to make money, and like, and then when I'm not in the shop, I need to spend time with my wife.
It's that we have to give our partners attention. Like, seriously.
So as much as I'd love to sit and chat with you for an hour every other day, it's just not gonna. There's just no time in the day for it.
Yeah.
That's
Except for today.
I love this. Well, that's what I was gonna say.
With Tiff, we'll always make the exception.
Oh, first of all, thanks, guys. But this is why I love the podcast, though, because this is time that I'm putting aside to say, like, you're going to be social. You're going to hang out with some cool people, get to know, like, how they tick, what they do behind their business, and hear and catch up with friends. Like, I love having past guests come on, like Trevor, where I get to catch up now. Like, it's been, I don't know, a year, 2 years, 2 years since I interviewed you last.
I think so.
So, like, when he was on my show, he was talking about his focus was going to be on working with more brands. And now I get to catch up and see how that's gone. So, like, it's hard. Like, I always say, like, I'm too busy to podcast. And, like, I've taken away release dates. So anyone listening has kind of gotten used to, like, they come out when they come out now. I'm not, like, holding myself to any kind of set timeline, because this is supposed to be fun. So I want to keep it that way. It is. Like promos, I feel so bad. I have not made promos in weeks.
I like that though. I like that, like, the podcast doesn't come out every Tuesday at 6 o'clock and it's there. I mean, there's plenty of people who do that, and it's fine. Like that's how they want to run that.
Their
but I
job
think for
a lot of people.
like to not to kind of just, whenever the conversation happens, it happens. Whenever you get out there, you get it out there. And you know what? It's less stress on our end too, because now I don't have podcasts piling up in my feed that I'm trying to listen to while I'm in the shop.
Yeah, you're like, oh, cool, a new one came out. It's been a couple months. Like I think I went like a month. I took a month break off. Like, I'm just like, it's really empowering, because I do want to continue to do this, but it's just got to fit my life, you know? And it makes it, like you said, kind of easy on the guests, because if something comes up in their life and they have to cancel, there's not like stress to book back right away. It's like, all right, cool. When life calms down, let me know, and we'll book you back in, and we'll get you into the rotation.
Yeah. It's nice to run your podcast, not have your podcast run you, right? Like,
yes. It
like,
used
this
to.
is my schedule. I will do with it as I please.
Every Sunday at 5 a.m. we used to be behind the maker. Like, it was like always.
That's how
sounds exhausting.
That's how I've been treating social media lately, with posting on Instagram. There was like a full year where I was vigilant about getting in one reel every single day and making sure that I commented at least, 10, 15 other reels, and getting obsessive over it. It was like running my life.
And
now
it's like the same.
Now you get 3, maybe 4 a week, and that's good enough.
Yeah, I agree.
I've gone through those where it was like 1 or 2 a week, like, just because you have to adjust for yourself. Like, I am guilty of the everyday, like, pushing yourself to do it a lot. And then you do get burnt out by it. The editing piles up and kind of gets very overwhelming. I'm sure we've all experienced that, where you have some really good shop days or like a big project, so you're constantly filming, and then it's just like you're staring at this footage and you're not ready to look at it yet.
Well, I was listening to the last podcast, and you had Annette on the last episode. You were discussing this, like the need to like film while also working, and like that stress of like when I have big projects and I want to get stuff done, and I have something that like especially a client project where I'm on a time limit, and I'm like, I need this done by Friday.
Yep.
I don't have the energy to move the camera, set up the shot, make the cut, move the camera, set up the shot, make the cut. Like, it's too stressful. And
It
sometimes I'd
is.
rather just get the project done, and I don't have that content that week, and then I'll deal with it some other time.
Yeah. No, the conversation exactly was about my deck remodel, right? And I was
Yeah, that
saying,
was it.
like, all the footage, all you're going to see with me is like a paintbrush in my hand for 2 seconds. And then anything else that I filmed, it was of my dad or my husband. So it looks like I've done nothing but sit around and paint. But it's just because when I'm working, I'm like, I'm not even like, we got to just go. We have to just, if we stop, like, it just gets frustrating, So you just got to keep going
Yeah, that was my
sometimes.
shower thought for like yesterday, was just about how, I guess not like how much more difficult it is as a maker content creator than it is just like regular content creators. Because like regular content creators, they sit down, they record themselves talking about whatever fun facts or this or that. But if you're like doing something like a maker or like a DIYer,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's just like so much harder because you have to like not only plan your
Yeah.
videos, plan your script, you also have to build this thing and build it well. Otherwise, you're not only going to get bad comments, you're going to get people like critiquing your work, which you're going to get all the time anyways. But it's just like, it's always that extra step of like, man, I still have to build this thing. I just got my camera set up. Now I have to build it. And then it's like, man, I have to keep it interesting while I'm building it.
Mm-hmm.
How do I do this?
Actually, how do you guys deal with that? The negative critiques when you're people posting stupid stuff on your feeds.
I
I
don't
don't get
usually.
them, so I don't know.
You don't? Okay. I don't I don't usually get a lot of negative comments about technique or whatever, but it'll be about my content because I'm not afraid to make things that show like LGBTQ stuff, like I'm not
Mm.
afraid to make a pride flag, and there's so many
Oh, I
homophobic
bet
little
you get
people.
some.
I get the
Oh, those are
dirtiest things. I
fun.
get the throw up faces, the gag or F people like this. I get those comments when I post them. So I will have anxiety 3-4 days before I post a video, knowing that I was like, what's coming? And like
Oh,
it
that
it
sucks.
shouldn't affect me like to post it, but like I'm still gonna do it. But I do feel like that anxiety of like just having to deal with assholes. Like that's the thing. It's like
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to take whatever they say to heart because I know there's just a lot of jerks out there. But it's just
Yeah,
like just to see it. I try to delete it as fast as I can because I don't want somebody who is trans to see that and then have to deal with that. They get enough shit for their
True.
life, Like I don't want them
Yeah.
to see those comments. So I'm like, But like that's the only part that stresses me out. Like otherwise, like they might tell me there was a better way, but I don't care. That's how I did it. Or teach me. Please teach me.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I always say when people are like, "You did this wrong." I'm like, "That's funny." I'll like message them back or something. And I'll be like, "That's funny because I just went to your page and I didn't see you do any. What do you even do?" It's
So you clap
basically always something
back.
like that where I'm like, okay, well, you
That's
show me next time and I'll do it better, or things like that. I just try to always have fun with it because I'm like, this person doesn't know. They don't, like, half the time they don't know because like you said, most of the people following you are woodworkers, so they do know.
Mm-hmm.
Most
mhm.
of them aren't going to critique you because they're like, no, he probably could have done that safer, but he still has all of his fingers. It's fine, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's the people who don't know that are like throwing all this crap in your face, and it's like, dude, you do pottery. Why are you coming at me with this table saw safety crap? Don't come at me with that.
My,
Well,
my most
his
negative
grandfather used a table saw once.
Yeah, exactly.
my most negative comments, my most hateful comments are always from people with like private profiles and like 7 followers. And
Always.
it's like,
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
sorry, dude. I've taken on a blanket policy now that anytime there's like a negative comment that I feel is like somewhat like attacking me, I always respond with excessive and unreasonable like negative attacks back. Like it's my blanket policy. Like if you say something about like me not wearing safety glasses, then I'm going to talk about your kids and your wife and your mom, and we're going to bring it all in immediately. First comment back.
Just straight up, like,
Just
oh, this is the game you want to play? You knocked on the wrong door, buddy.
Do you
Just
enjoy like that kind of conflict in life though, like throwing quips back at people though? Is that just something that You like in your day to day, or
am I dated? I am such a sarcastic person.
yeah, I say because you must have things locked and
I
loaded
am
to say. Because I'd be like, that's a lot of work.
I have my whole day is filled with just like quick comebacks.
Oh yeah,
That's
the best. Oh yeah. Do you ever play Call of Duty? Because if you do, then you're definitely ready.
I played up until the new map updates, like last year or 2 years ago, whatever it was when they did that last.
Okay, so you're
map
up to
update.
date on the insults though, still at least another like 6 months.
That's what I mean. Because you have to be, because after a while, that's hard. You got to get fairly creative with these clapbacks, you know?
The thing is, like,
yeah.
they were always within my own squad. Like I had, 5 or 6 friends that I played with regularly, like good friends from like high school and middle school that we all played together for a long time. And like most of the quick quibs and clapbacks were like Among Us.
Oh yeah, but they were bad.
We
bad.
we could be having the best game of our lives and still be tearing each other apart on the comms.
Mm-hmm.
That's friendship. It's love.
I've had a couple of times where my wife comes in and she's like, "What did you just say?" I'm like, you shouldn't be here." like surprises her because she's heard just about everything, but I'll say something sometime where just like, you can't say that. And I'm like, actually I can. I'm online, so I can say whatever I want. Yeah. Yeah. Good comebacks are keys to trolls.
Yeah. I mean, also it's engagement, right? We always talk about engagement is great.
Just try to keep the conversation going as long as possible in the comment section.
One of my most viewed and most commented on posts so far for 2023 was me making it was like a 10-second video of me making one cut on my table saw and not wearing my safety glasses. And it was
they chewed you up.
Oh, they chew. And they were like, "Oh, why is he wearing an apron? There's things dangling. Let's not get caught in the saw blade. Take your watch off. Why is he wearing a ring?" Like, just everything safety police they could have possibly gotten me for. And I was like, "This is great. Keep the comments coming." Like that I think it hit like 1 million views in like 2 weeks. I was so
I say you guys have both had like videos that are shorter, probably kind of kick you off, I would assume.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had a couple million views on a couple videos. It's
have
crazy.
What works for you?
Those stupid videos that like you go in the shop one day, you're like, "Oh, I'll just post this to throw away because I have nothing going on today. I'm not gonna really edit this." It's always those posts for me that just like take off, that I put zero effort into.
Yeah,
it's true. Yeah, I haven't had those 1 million views, but it is every time anything just does good for no reason, it's because it was minimal effort. Like I edited this like perfect thing of me making 50 pride flags the other day, and it did pretty good, but like it took so long to edit all of that footage. If I had just done like the CNC going on one flag, I probably would have done better than like this whole barrage of flags happening, you know? So it's always interesting to see what works.
You could have posted one brush stroke and then the finished product. It would have been a 7-second reel. It would have got 1 million views.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, probably.
I'll let you pick the item. I'll go re-edit something. One line.
Yeah, I always have to remember when I'm like editing a reel or like a short one that I've like actually got my camera out and I've spent time on. That's for me. I'm doing it for me. I'm not doing it for like my followers. I'm like, I'm doing this because I've been doing photography and video for like 10 years and I know and I love good quality videos. And I'm doing it for myself. This is not for anybody else. So don't expect to get a lot of views on it because the things that make me happy never bring me views. So
yeah.
What do you shoot on in the shop?
I shoot on a Canon R10.
Do you also use a camera or do you use your phone?
I do. No, camera. It's a Sony ZV-E10.
Is that the new one?
It's fairly new. It's
compact.
It's a mirror. It's a compact mirrorless, but it, with like actual
removable lenses. Nice.
Yeah, so I could still use Sony lenses on this with no problem.
Okay.
But it's like super compact.
Yeah, that thing is like an iPhone size.
Yeah, when you pulled it up, I was like, what am I looking at?
It's crazy small. And it's, I shoot at 4K, 60 FPS. So like it's good footage.
She has girth to her there.
Yeah, see, Canon's got a little bit of loving. Gives you something to hold on to. That's what you want.
Was it Canon's? No, it's my Nikon that has like a 20-minute timeout on the video, which really upset me. It's what I ended up buying this one for.
That's the worst.
Kicks it off at 20 minutes.
20
turns it off.
For whatever reason, I have a
Wow.
D5500, the Nikon. It's like a crop sensor camera, and even with a massive memory card in there, like the camera itself has a 20-minute cutoff on videos.
Yep. That's how a lot of it is with the crop sensors. They just can't process it all.
Yeah.
And the manufacturers are like, okay, well, let's just turn it off.
Right.
Because if they don't, it'll just delete all the footage instead. So they're like, okay, well, let's just turn it off, and then people will get mad at us for that, but at least they won't be losing their footage.
Yeah.
That's interesting, because you do hear a lot of people say, and then my camera crapped out. Like, so like it's all clicking here, because I am an iPhone all the way through type of person. I live way too fast to be like working off a camera right now. Like, can't make it happen. I have one,
just
but
as good.
I mean, like the new iPhone with like I have the Pro Max with like the cinematic cameras. It looks so good. It's so
ridiculous.
It's just I listen to podcasts while I'm in the shop, and so if I have video recording, I can't have my camera, and then I have to like take it, put it all in my like Dropbox, and then delete it all. Otherwise, I have like 7,000 clips on my phone of just like me randomly cutting things in the shop.
Yep. Google storage. Get that Google storage.
Constantly have to up it though, man. I fill that shit up quick.
I bought an 18 terabyte G drive just to store everything on it.
I just bought a 5 terabyte, and I was like, oh yeah. Now I'm like, oh man, this thing's gonna go so fast.
It'll be full in a year, probably.
Well, especially because I just started filming 8K on this all the time.
Oh, well, that's 8K?
Yeah. I'm like, okay, maybe 8K is a little much. Let's just do 4K. But still, even 4K is ridiculous.
Do you even have something that can play back 8K? Like, what do you watch that on?
On my Mac. Your Mac will play back. But other people, what you do is you record it 8K, downgrade it in your editing to 4K, and then everyone can watch it.
I'm gonna place an 8K video on my MacBook. I'm curious now.
I say you have such a like inquisitive face right now.
Yeah, YouTube it.
I don't think I've ever
that's what most people do. They film 8K and then they downgrade to 4 or 1080, and then that also allows you to like move your zooms and stuff in your editing or whatever.
Well, that's what I say. Like, because Instagram is like 720 at best, probably. So shooting in 4K, I can crop in, and I lose no quality whatsoever.
Yeah, it's super nice. That's the only reason I started filming in 4K is because for Instagram and stuff, I was like, I can move this around if I shoot vertical to either side and not lose any pixels.
So at 8K, then could you shoot super wide angle on everything and then crop in for YouTube, but then crop in horizontal for like social media? So you're using like one set of footage, 2 different.
Yeah, that's what I do. When I film, I only shoot vertical. And then when I get it into my Premiere, when my editing, I just crop it. But then you can also move it either way horizontal, which is super nice. So yeah, that's why I shoot 4K is because then I just crop it down and
that makes a ton
I don't lose
of
any pixelation. Yeah.
Time for an upgrade to 8K.
It still works 4K if you're posting on Instagram and stuff because
So
and then another thing that I
did
that really helped was buy a faster memory card. So your memory card can record at a certain rate, but you can actually buy faster memory cards that can record faster. So if you start shooting 4K, you're going to need a faster memory card. Because what I realized was I didn't have a fast memory card in here. And if you film 4K and then like stop it and then instantly start trying to film again, your camera's like, whoa, wait. I'm still writing all this to the thing. And I started forcing it out. Like I was like, okay, whatever. And I just forced it out. And then I lost all that footage because it just was like, oh, okay, you want to record this? All right, we'll record this. Screw this other stuff, I guess.
Now you just made me check. I'm shooting on a SanDisk Extreme Pro, 200 megs a second.
Oh yeah, that'll do it. That'll do you.
Okay.
Good job, Justin. I would have looked too. I would have had to know.
It was the more expensive memory card on Amazon, so it's the one I went with. I was like,
that's the smarter choice. Most people
more money,
like,
more better.
That's a good choice, because a lot of people are like, I don't know, this one's only like $10. I'm just gonna get this one, and it's like,
well,
good
it's
luck.
kind of like, how serious are you taking this, right? Like, obviously, Justin wants to continue to grow this to make money, so he's gonna invest, and like doing all the ads that you're doing and constantly promoting your business, it's paying off for you. So,
and are you doing YouTube, Justin?
Not yet. Actually, this workbench build will probably be my first full-length like YouTube video. I've done a couple of here and there to try and like kick it off. I've never had the energy to really go for it, and I feel like the next 4 months I'll be home with the baby. Like, I'm gonna be tired, but like at least I won't have a 9 to 5. So I'll have time sitting here during nap time to do the editing, because it's not the recording.
I was totally gonna say that when your kid's just sleeping on you, you could totally edit.
Yeah, for me, it's not the recording in the shop that's the problem for me. It's like the editing and the voiceover and everything else afterwards. And I know like YouTube videos are like the ones that I'd be making are only like 5-6 minutes long, but it's still a lot more than the 10-second Instagram things I've been posting. And it's not as much like, you have to be much more thoughtful. Like, it's not throwaway content constantly.
You get to add stuff in it too. Like if you're gonna add humor, clips, or something, you get to really kind of create and have fun.
I'm a huge fan of Jason Hibbs, like Bourbon Moth's, the way his format for YouTube videos, where it's not a lot of talking head. It's him doing the work, doing the voiceover, and then a lot of cut scenes of like the explanation, but not a lot of like talking while working. And I feel like that works well for my workflow, so I don't have to think about writing a script while I'm in the shop.
100%. Yeah, that can be something that you do afterwards, and then you can keep ad-libbing if you want. Like, I like to do that. I like to ad-lib a lot. I just want to say thank you for coming on, because I like, this is great. You guys totally vibed, first of all. And it sounds like you're gonna be picking each other's brains about stuff later, so that's cool.
Help or tips or anything on YouTube, let me know. I'm not like the greatest at it, but I've been doing it a little while. So
no, yeah, I was just telling Tiff, like, let's connect, because I definitely want to pick your brain about that. And like if we ever find ourselves heading in the same direction at some point in the next year or so, like let's hit a trail.
Overland Trail, let's go. Heck yeah, dude.
So we were closing the podcast up, and I'm like, I think I just made a friendship here, and I'm super excited about that, because like I can just see you guys picking each other's brains on different topics, so that's super cool.
Oh yeah, it's going down for real.
All right. I love it. Well, gentlemen, good night, and thank you for joining me.
Thanks so much. It's been fun.
Yeah, it's been great.
All right, I hope you enjoyed that episode. Those two got along so well. I was just so happy the whole episode. I was literally just smiling, because I thought it was so cool that they instantly bonded. You can find them both at Campfire, Woodworks, and Madeira Design. And I'm Tiff Marchand from NIGHTCARVER Designs, and have a great day.